live. Andy, thank you so much, as always. Good morning, everyone. I am Betsy Nachman, and I would like to welcome you all in the sanctuary and on Zoom to the Berkeley Fellowship of Unitarian Universalists. We are part of a religious tradition that began as Unitarianism, a Christian sect in Eastern Europe in the late 1500s. Unitarianism challenged the divine trinity of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit that had become core to Christianity. Instead, our Christian denomination came to regard Jesus as a deeply spiritual human being who strongly influenced the moral course of history. As the Enlightenment progressed, with its emphases on science, intellectual pursuits, and humanism, atheists and people of other faiths joined the Unitarian congregations. As we joined with the Universalists in 1961, our shared beliefs on free thought, individual dignity, and the rejection of dogmatic creeds, as well as those on social justice and the centrality of love, all became stronger. Now, before we get started, a few housekeeping notes. Please remember to turn off your cell phones or turn them low. If you have any announcements, please write them down, and Jeff at the corner there of the AV construct will take your notes. You're welcome to quietly get up and go to our Book of Joys and Sorrows, which is against the wall on a little podium, and write an entry that will be read aloud later in the service. Our fellowship stands on land that was once inhabited by the Chochenyo-speaking Ohlone people. The Truth and Healing Council, established by the Newsom administration in 2019, is wrapping up its report to Californians about the historical relationships between the state of California and Native American tribes, and the numerous reparation efforts underway. Included is a 2024 action organized by local Lisjan people and the Sogorea-Te Land Trust to set aside the West Berkeley Shell Mound, a 6,000-year-old burial site at Hearst Avenue and 4th Street, to be protected from development indefinitely, as Virginia has told us about in much more detail. Today, we're especially pleased to have Claire Broome with us. Claire Broome, MD, was Deputy Director of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, from 1994 to 1999 during the Clinton administration. She has advocated for clean and renewable energy policies in California for the last 15 years at the California Public Utilities Commission and the California Energy Commission in collaboration with Sierra Club California and 350 Bay Area. Claire is active in the Care for Creation movement in the peace and social justice community. She is dedicated in these dangerously contrary times to continuing to accelerate our transition to renewable energy. Let's welcome Claire, who will now treat us to some opening words.
Thank you so much, Betsy, and the congregation here. It's really a pleasure to be with you. Our opening reading is from the poet Wendell Berry, although this is one of his essays. It's not a poem. But it raises a central issue for caring for creation, and that is community and communication. The question I am trying to raise here is, how can the best work be done? Conversation is necessarily cooperative, and it can carry us far beyond the principle of competition to an understanding of common interest. By conversation, a university or a city and its region could define themselves as one community rather than an assortment of competing interests. Once the conversation has started, it will quickly become obvious that there must be a common, agreed-upon standard of judgment. And I think this will have to be health, the health of ecosystems and of human communities. The means of human communication are limited, and we dare not forget this. There is some knowledge that cannot be communicated by communications technology. For what may be the most essential knowledge, how to work well in one's place, language simply is not an adequate vehicle. Our great modern powers of science, technology, and industry are always offering themselves to us with the suggestion that we know enough to use them well, that we are intelligent enough to act without limit in our own behalf. But the evidence is now rapidly mounting against us. By living as we do, in our ignorance and our pride, we are diminishing our world and the possibility of life. This is a plea for humility.
Thank you, Claire. It all ties together all the time. Well, now is the time to light our lights. And our beloved Craig, who is usually here and just volunteers to do this on a regular basis, is being substituted by Margaret. Thank you, Margaret. It just happens. Except that she doesn't have the... But you have the community. The will. Okay, so I do want to say that this is a good time for the Zoomers to also light their chalices if they have them at home. Let's read together as Jeff takes the technology to light our flames, to read in our order of service together. Go. Let love be the spirit of this congregation and service its goal. This is our living covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truths in life, and to help one another. And now our red candle. We light our red candle to mourn Black lives taken by police violence, to proclaim that Black lives matter, and to express our commitment to Black liberation, reparations, and the end of slave capitalism. I'd like to add here that since we are all becoming more vulnerable to local, state, and national law enforcement agencies that are breaking laws and engaging in violence, we also light this candle to help us have the courage to nonviolently and collectively organize to resist their inhumane behaviors. As Graham Plattner says, we didn't get an 8-hour workday and a 40-hour work week because somebody wrote a nice letter to their congressman. So let's each join something, or something in addition, or start something. So, thank you for the flames. Our first song today is Now is the Cool of the Day by Jean Ritchie.
My love, she says unto me, do you like my garden so fair? You may live in this garden if you keep my grasses green, and I'll return in the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day. Oh, this earth is a garden, the garden of my love, and she walks in her garden in the cool of the day. Then my love, she says unto me, do you like my garden so pure? You may live in this garden if you keep my waters clean, and I will return in the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day. Oh, this earth is a garden, the garden of my love, and she walks in her garden in the cool of the day. Thus my love, she says unto me, do you like my garden so free? You may live in this garden if you keep my people free, and I'll return in the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day. Oh, this earth is a garden, the garden of my love, and she walks in the garden in the cool of the day.
Now for our meditation. Please get comfortable, attend your breath, practice being present. I'll sound a chime to start the meditation and ring it a second time at the end of 2 minutes. Now we will hear the joys and sorrows people have wanted to share. Jeff, did the Zoomers have any thoughts to share today?
Yes, we have one from Simone, and she says, yesterday was the 100th heavenly birthday of my grandpa Bud. He ran marathons until he was 80.
Wow. And in our book, I am so happy to have my friend Claire Broome speak today, from Margaret. Grateful for community and the way it's supported patient, caring growth, from Annie. Now is the time we say aloud the names of anyone to whom we want to send support and love. Those with measles. Our final ritual involves water and stones for any matter that you wish to bring into our community, but is perhaps too sensitive to speak aloud. You can walk down the center aisle, choose a stone or stones, and immerse them in the water that represents our community. Please rise now and find a place in the aisle if you wish to participate. Thank you again, Andy. Our meditation song comes from the Buddhist tradition, and you know it all. You're all regulars, so I know you know it. You can close your eyes and sing it, and then open them again. May all be well, may I know joy, may I be free, may you be Joni Mitchell wrote our next song, Big Yellow Taxi, in 1970, when, after her first night in a Hawaiian hotel, she woke to see out her window rolling green mountains in the distance and a huge parking lot in the foreground.
Paradise, put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a sweet hot spot. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? They pay paradise, put up a parking lot. Shoo, ba 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 ba, shoo, ba 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 ba. They took all the trees, put them in a tree museum, and they charged all the people $1.50 just to see 'em. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? They pay paradise, put up a parking lot. Shoo, ba 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 ba, shoo, ba 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 ba. Hey, farmer, farmer, put away that DDT now. Give me spots on my apples, but leave me the birds and the bees. Please, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? They pay paradise and put up a parking lot. Shoo, ba 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 ba, shoo, ba 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 ba. Late last night, heard the screen door slam, and a big yellow taxi took away my old man. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? They pay paradise and put up a parking lot. Shoo, ba 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 ba, shoo, ba 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 ba. They pay paradise, put up a parking lot. Ba 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 ba. They pay paradise, put up a parking lot.
We will now hear Claire's message.
Good morning again. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah, all right. So today I've titled my remarks intentionally. This is about energy, i.e. your electricity system, but it's also about your personal energy. What energizes you and can help us all start caring for creation, both what we're currently doing and hopefully at an increased level. So, and I've chosen caring as an active verb, not just care, which is sort of passive. What I'd like to do is do some setting. This is a technical issue, but I'm going to stay at a very high level. And anybody who wants to get down in the weeds, after the service, I've brought some backup information, and I'm happy to get way down in the weeds with anybody who would like to. So this will be high level for about less than 10 minutes. And then I would like to get some conversation with you all, partly in terms of having a sense of where you're at now, but also getting some dialogue about where we as individuals and as a community could be going. So I don't need to tell you that we're in a climate crisis. The wildfires, the floods, the changed weather, let alone sea level rise, it's a crisis, and it's urgent. Every day that we delay, we make the situation worse and harder to deal with, and more having terrible impacts on those who are most vulnerable and least responsible for the crisis. In California, we're also in an electricity cost crisis. As if you pay attention to your electricity bill, you already know this. And so what I'm trying to particularly communicate today is both what's going on in the system and what can we do about it. Let's talk about solutions. So now I get to see if I can get this to work. All right. So partly, this is just a sort of overview slide. I realize that it's not just about electricity. So this gives you all the other important things that people can and are doing. But I'm going to focus on the first one. And the reason is that part of the solution is getting off of fossil fuels, which had been the way we generated electricity, and move to generating electricity with renewable, clean sources, wind, solar, but also energy efficiency and conservation, using less energy. But we really need to pay attention to this because part of the solution is electrifying. You know, we want to get off fossil gas. We want to get off gasoline. That means we need electric vehicles. That means we need heating of our homes and buildings with heat pumps, not with fossil gas. Don't call it natural gas. Fossil gas is what it is. And we also need to generate our electricity as much as possible from clean sources. So I'm putting it up here not because I want you to be able to read everything that's on it, but because of the schematic, and I will get to that. But first, and actually I don't think I have do I have a pointer? No. All right. So traditionally, the way the electricity system worked was people had big hydropower dams, they had big fossil gas generating stations remotely. And then they would use transmission lines, big high voltage transmission lines to bring the electricity to where people used it in their homes and businesses. And this was a very top-down model. The other thing you have to know about electricity is traditionally you couldn't store it. So as soon as it was generated, it had to get out on the transmission lines and get used. And you couldn't have too much energy coming through the lines because that would fry your appliances and fry the system. So it was a very delicate balancing act where you needed to build a huge system which anticipated what's the most electricity anybody would ever want. That means the top-down system is 45%, thank you, is only used at 45% capacity. We build this incredibly expensive system to support peaks. And that means we overbuild it in terms of the cost to ratepayers. Now, there were two major breakthroughs that we're very lucky to have. Technology does have its uses. One of them is batteries. Batteries mean that you can store energy. When you have this huge solar peak in the middle of the day, you can use it to charge electric vehicles. You can use it to charge up a home battery or a grid battery. And then you can use that energy when the sun goes down. So that's a huge breakthrough. And battery technology has gotten much more affordable and cheaper recently and has basically, in the last 2 years, replaced over half of fossil gas peaking power, which is what is used to cover that evening peak. The other huge breakthrough, and this is Bill McKibben talks about all the time, and that is it is now cheaper to use renewable energy. If you talk about new construction of electricity generation, wind and solar are cheaper than fossil gas, and they're 10 times cheaper than nuclear power for generating. So we have this opportunity to continue responsible use of electricity and electrify our vehicles and our homes using renewable energy, and it will be cheaper than if we used fossil gas. So the other point this makes, and I'll just step away, well, I guess from the mic for a minute. So this is the top-down system where it comes through a transmission line to get to homes, businesses, smart buildings, there we go, thank you, smart buildings, and microgrids. And the point is, the National Renewable Energy Lab, what it used to be called, has calculated that local, this is a horrible term, DER, distributed energy resources, can supply a major share of new electrification demand. If we did this in a smart way, we would be able to supply somewhere between 50 and 70% of the coming electrification demand. We will need some bulk power, some transmission, but it should supplement local production. And there's several reasons why this is important. Local, and we keep needing a better term than DER, but we haven't found it. So I'll keep using DER for now. It has enormous advantages. It's much faster. It can take 10 years to build a transmission line to bring power into a constrained area. As I've said, and it's cheaper because you don't need to pay for the transmission. It's resilient. As the climate crisis worsens, we're going to have more shutoffs from wildfires. PG&E is going to turn our power off preventively. And if you have batteries and generation on the distribution grid, you can power right through an outage. 90% of outage hours are on the distribution grid, this local system. And of course, it does permit local jobs and local decision-making. The other huge benefit is what's called demand flexibility. And that means you take that incredibly cheap energy from the sun that was generated in the middle of the day, and you use it to power the evening peak. The peak is now between 5 and 9 p.m. And that means you don't have to build. Remember, I told you the grid was used only at 45% capacity. If you shift that peak and you supply it using rooftop solar and batteries, you can get an extra 55% out of the grid. And that's where the huge cost saving comes in. Now I'm going to ask you, yes. How many of you have noticed that your PG&E bill for electricity has gone up? Raise your hand. Yeah, that's a pretty complete and a pretty complete experience. So you may think your electricity bill is a cost for electricity. Only 1/3 of the average California electricity bill in 2023 paid for power, paid for generation. Only 1/3. The other 2/3, the most rapidly increasing portion, paid for that transmission, paid for overbuilding the local distribution poles and wires. So this is the major reason. It's not because of rooftop solar. The major reason your bills are going up is because of utility spending on poles and wires for transmission and distribution. And again, if you want to hear and see the details, I've got a whole slide set we can talk about after the service. What do we do about this? Well, I want to hear some ideas from you, but let me just quickly get a level setting sense. How many of you either have or are thinking about an electric vehicle or a plug-in electric vehicle? All right, a few people are there. How many people have solar on their rooftop? All right. And I think, Margaret, did you tell me the congregation has solar? Yes. Yeah, because it's not all on individuals. What we need is for communities to figure this out. And in fact, it'll be much cheaper if we do solar on brownfields, if we do community solar rather than just single-family residences solar. That's not what I'm advocating for. And we can talk about the subtleties. How many people know what an induction stove is? All right, well, this is a pretty savvy group. Okay, all right. So what I've put up here is my journey. When I retired from CDC and came back to California, one of the first things I did was put solar on my roof. And then I got a plug-in hybrid in 2014, which is still going strong, and have journeyed through this. And so I am urging everybody to think about individual action. But I'm also curious, what do you think would be the most important ways, particularly in the current environment? We cannot count on the federal government, and even California State has been pushing back on community solar and on rooftop solar because the investor-owned utilities make a guaranteed 10% profit on every dollar they spend. if you want to know why they're building transmission and distribution, it's because that's where they make the money for the shareholders. Municipal utilities in Sacramento and Los Angeles are about 30% cheaper electricity than the investor-owned utilities. That's probably one good marker. So let me stop and see if folks have suggestions. What do they think makes a difference?
I have a mic, so I can pass it around. Second.
Thanks. I know that in the California legislature, right, I believe led by Aisha Wahab, considering whether we have to act to transfer from investor-owned infrastructure to either state-owned or nonprofit, and that sounded to me like community nonprofit. That sounded like a really good idea to me.
Thank you. Yes, there's some really good activities going on exploring different options for municipalization, and there's some alternatives, sort of short-term, that might make things better. But what we can do for that is education, advocacy. Do you know your legislators?
Oh. Well, I live out in Contra Costa County in the valley, and where there's a lot of new homes being built. And there doesn't seem to be an ordinance that says that all the new buildings being built will have solar. And that would be an easy way of doing it because it just adds a little bit more to the cost of the house at a time when people aren't worrying about the cost. They're just over the overall cost. So that would really help.
Absolutely. And here's, I work for the government, but the government can do good things. They don't have to do bad things. So the California Energy Commission sets standards for new buildings. And there is a standard which was supposed to go in effect in 2020, and people are sort of dragging their feet, but it mandates an energy efficiency for new buildings, which is most easily met by including solar on new buildings. So Contra Costa is ahead of the curve and doing the right thing. And it's good for the building owner, but it's also good because it decreases the demand on the whole grid, so you don't have to overbuild it. It's best if they also install batteries. Other thoughts and suggestions? In the back? Here comes the mic. I'm very hard of hearing, so.
I would just say be careful who you vote for and work hard to get a good person in. Like, I would suggest Steyer might be your best bet.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm not allowed to say that probably, but climate is not about sound bites. It's not about pretending you're environmentalist. It's about action. We need action.
I'm interested in plug-in solar. Can we get that in California where, you can just put it on your balcony and then use it for people that are old like me and, maybe totally doing the roof is too hard?
Yes, the plug-in solar bill has made it through the state Senate. So it's looking very good. But again, advocacy, you need to stay on your legislators. And plug-in solar, it's this neat, they're not large, but you basically can just plug them in. You don't have to get approval or interconnection with PG&E. And I've found when PG&E turns out my power, particularly if you can run lights, refrigerator, although you've got some time, that won't immediately decompensate. I have to confess, I run the router and the modem, but that doesn't take much electricity. So if you have something like this, which is a small solar unit, it's pretty useful.
how can we make batteries affordable? I have mega solar. I'd love to have a battery, but I don't have the capital to invest, and I don't want to buy Tesla, which is the one that seems to be making the grade.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Although there are alternatives. Enphase and LG have good batteries. So this, I did not plant this question. And I don't know the ins and outs of it that much. How many people know what AVA is? It's on your PG&E bill, that's right.
Yeah, I think that's where we get our battery for this building, from Ava. Yeah.
Did they give you an incentive? Anyway.
Yeah.
So AVA is what's called a community choice aggregator. And it was a huge campaign to try to get locally controlled nonprofits who supply the energy, the generation part of your bill. And AVA is our East Bay, used to be East Bay Community Energy. They are just launching a program called AVA Smart Home Batteries, which will provide upfront incentives for the acquisition of a battery, and then it will pay the battery owner a modest amount per month for making part of that battery available to lower their peak demand. And it's very favorable if you qualify as a lower income homeowner, but even anybody can get something off, plus recommendations for reliable contractors for a battery installation. So, and that's what's exciting. There are good things about living in California. There are things happening. And if we stay active on the advocacy front, hopefully there'll be more good things. And I probably have run out of time, but I'll be happy to stick around after the service and continue the discussion. I'm really pleased to hear everybody's engagement. Oh, so would you like to know what induction stoves are? I'm not a physicist, but they are the latest iteration of stoves for cooking, not for space heating or whatever. And instead of being electric resistance, which was very expensive and used a lot of electricity, induction stoves work by setting up a magnetic field, as I understand it. And literally, my induction stove boils water faster than a plug-in electric kettle. I mean, they're super fast, and they're totally clean. And they're very efficient. So you use much less electricity to produce the cooking. And they also respond immediately. As soon as you change it's not a dial, it's a push button, the digital setup, the temperature drops. So it's been a learning curve, but I'm very happy with my induction cooktop. And you can get just a single one quite reasonably, or you can, yay! Yeah, and they have like demonstrations. I mean, a lot of this stuff, being aware of it and investigating and seeing what's going to work for you. This is not a sales pitch. It's about figuring out how we, as individuals and as a community, can take advantage of tools which can really make a difference. All right.
Sorry, I'm deep in thought about what Claire's talking about. So I've lost my place entirely. This just occurs to me, Jillian had asked me to do some sitting in on small congregations Zooms, and there is a program in the UUA to give points to congregations that are working on green issues, and some financial assistance, I believe. I'll find out more about that, but as a congregation, we could take advantage of that program. Okay. So Tom is here, which means that we are going to have our offertory, I believe. But let me make sure. I'm sorry. Thanks and announcements. I have sharing our responsibility first. Oh, sorry. Yes. There are differences between the order of service and the script. That's true. So, regardless of when it comes in the program, we are responsible for supporting our community financially. And now is the time when we pass around our collection basket for our BFUU home and for a hardworking, well-respected social justice organization in the Bay Area. Our shared plate partner for May is Computer Technologies Program. The program's mission is to improve employment opportunities for people with disabilities by providing training in information technologies, self-marketing strategies, and advocacy in partnership with the business and workforce development communities. CTP is the world's first program of its kind, and it's located right here on Ed Roberts campus at 3075 Adeline Street. Founded in Berkeley, the birthplace of the disability rights movement, the program has provided over 1 million hours of services since 1974, helping people with disabilities identify their strengths, overcome barriers, prepare for employment, and achieve greater independence. The offertory will be an original song by our Tom Rudderow. It's called Hooah Ha Hey Hey. And of course, some of us may remember parts of it because you've sung it here before. Yeah, good.
Cool, here we go. Hooah Ha Hey Hey Hey. That is the chorus, please sing along. So I got that chorus back in '99 when I first started getting songs. I never believed in channeling until it happened to me. And I started receiving songs, and so I had 6, and one day I was riding my bike home, and I heard in my head, hooah ha, hey, 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 hooah ha, hey, hey, hey. So I'm like, what the heck is this? And I came home and I talked to my songwriter, and I'm like, what is that? And he gave me these words, which were all about the environment. And there's the last verse actually mentions the wasichu, which is a Lakota word, which means the taker of the fat, which is what we are. The story goes that I heard was this European was freezing, walking through the woods, and he came across a village that had never seen a European before, and they welcomed him in, they warmed him up, they gave him a knife, they said, there's a deer cooking by the fire, when you feel warm enough, go ahead over, help yourself. And he went over and cut off a whole bunch of fat, which is shared equally amongst the tribe. And they all looked at him and said, Wasichu, and the taker of the fat. So, and sing along. I like to consider this chorus like the feelings that I can't put words to. Kind of like, what do they call that in Christianity? Singing in tongues, I guess. The sky belongs to no one. It's just there for you and me. For birds to wing and bring a song, clouds floating through for all to see. But we think borders reach on up to keep all others out, while we turn blue to gray, to acid rain with the pollution. ocean that we spout. Oh, there's Andy, I forgot. Ooh-ah-ha, hey, 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 ooh-ah-ha. The majestic seas are home for whales roaming free for countless years, singing tales of all that they have seen. But now these tales have far more tears as we drag the life from ocean floors with indiscriminate regard and dump our garbage miles from the shore. But we'll soon find it's our backyard. Ooh-ah, hey, 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 ooh-ah. The earth we all come out of to dance together on the land. Our mother Gaia gives us all we need with outstretched hands. Instead of sharing the bounty of our fruits side by side in healthy toil, hand in hand we fight against our roots and spill our blood into the soil. Ooh-ah, hey, 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 ooh-ah. Why can't we see? Why won't we see? When will we see, my friend, that if we don't see, our insanity will soon bring about our end? The earth, the sea, the sky are trying to tell us today just what native people, as they died, tried to tell us yesterday. The Wasichu, the taker of the fat you have become, so scared to share with others, afraid you may not have some. The truth you hide, dissatisfied with all that you achieve. But joy comes only from inside, and love from oneness, we believe. Ooh-ah, hey, 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 ooh-ah, ooh-ah, hey, 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 ooh-ah, ooh-ah, hey, 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 ooh-ah.
Thank you, Tom, for bringing your beauty to our congregation. Well, let us dedicate our offerings. We haven't gathered our offerings yet. Oh, okay. I was looking at the screen. Okay, where are they? To the work of this fellowship, which is creating beloved community within and beyond these walls, we dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings. In the spring of 1969, as George Harrison walked in the warm sun through Eric Clapton's country garden in Surrey, England, taking a welcome break from a troubling business meeting, he spontaneously composed "Here Comes the Sun" on one of Clapton's acoustic guitars. Let's sing it together now.
Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I say it's all right. Darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Ooh, here comes the sun. I say it's all right. Little darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I say it's all right. Sun, 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 here it comes. 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 Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I say it's all right. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I say it's all right. It's all right.
Thanks, choir. You do the Beatles proud. Okay, we have no visitors today, so let's get to the announcements.
Thank you. So today after the service, Bonnie Delott, Reverend Bonnie Delott, she's going to be coming here and talking to people about pastoral care. So if you have anything, any interest, any question about pastoral care, she's going to be providing pastoral care to our community here. So she'll be here to hang out with you and answer any questions or chat about that. And if you're interested in being on the board, I've been on the board before, so I highly recommend it. It's pretty fun. If you're interested in being on the board, then the bylaws say you have to find 10 people that will sign a petition to ask that you be on the board, or to be on the ballot, sorry. And that needs to happen. There's deadlines that are involved with that. So if you want to talk to me afterwards, I can give you the details. I have the bylaws over there. We'll look it up in the law book and get you the right information. And after that, Bonnie DeLotte's going to come up, and it looks like Phoebe's come up to say something. And after Phoebe, Jillian's coming up too. Thank you.
So this is not my first stint on the board over the years. And so I just want to clarify that we have a nominating committee that identifies willing and, in their opinion, competent board members. So they recommend those. But if you didn't contact the nominating committee, or then there's that other process where you can get 10 signatures and run even if you aren't recommended by the nominating committee. And so I had suggested we have a social justice committee meeting today because we didn't last week, but maybe that won't work if Bonnie DeLotte is having a meeting here. So maybe next week. Is there any conflict? Could we have it next week after lunch? Okay. Thanks.
Okay, I just have a couple of things. One is to say, please watch your email this week. Margaret's going to be sending out her survey. We'll be asking for your opinion on a couple of things. One is whether we continue to collaborate with the Sunday Assembly, and the other is asking for your feedback about ministers that have spoken to us recently, how much they spoke to you, and how often you would like to have them come back. And for the Sunday Assembly thing, I do encourage you, if you were not here last Sunday, do at least watch it a bit on the web, because we tried hard to do a blended service, which is different from what had happened before, and you might feel differently about it having watched that. The next thing for me is that next Sunday, after we're all finished up, Indivisible will be meeting here again, and they are doing a food drive for mutual aid. They're supporting folks in Oakland, especially around the Fruitvale area. And so it occurred to me that since we meet here too, if any of you feel like bringing some canned food or that kind of thing to contribute, that would be wonderful. We could join with them in doing that. And on the table there, I have some slips that give you a list of recommended foods. Healthy foods, right, that they would be really happy to receive, and we'll be storing the items back here for them just overnight, and then they'll be taking them down to Fruitvale the next day. And then the last thing is Jeannie and I have been, say thank you, Jeannie. Under Jeannie's leadership, I've been helping her clean the kitchen a little bit, and we found, yes, good. And we found that there were all sorts of leftover foods. We weren't sure. I'm not talking about in the fridge. I'm talking about in the cupboards, our packed cupboards. So we actually put stuff in bags that I'm going to bring out and put by our table. And if any of you would like to take some of that home, you're very welcome. We don't think it belongs here. We don't, at the present moment, we don't cook in that kitchen. So some items are better used if you are all interested in taking them home. Either that, or we'll probably include them for Indivisible next week. Thank you.
I have a quick announcement. I just would like to tell everybody that Food Not Bombs is having a big picnic at Cedar Rose Garden on Memorial Day. in the afternoon. So it's it's going to be cool. And then also there's a mural that's being painted by CIL, and they're having a big mural unveiling that's coming up. I believe it's the 25th at the campus down by Ashby, across from the BART station. Okay. Center of Independent Living. Yeah.
Any other announcements? Thanks are in order. We gratefully acknowledge all who worked together on this service. Our pianist, our choir, our audiovisual team, our kitchen crew, our office employees, and our worship service committee. And I just want to thank a few people individually. First of all, Claire. Thank you so much, Claire, for your clear, thoughtful, germane, interactive presentation to us. Thank you so much. Not all services lead to further action, but I think this one will. Thank you. And I also want to thank Paul for all those wonderful video word montages. And I also want to thank Christine, who I've gotten to know better and better over the months, for her years of help with our audiovisual systems, for her knowledgeable and devoted gardening, and her respectful connections with children over arts and crafts. Thank you, Christine. Please check your order of service and/or email newsletter for announcements. If you're not yet on the mailing list, probably everyone is, but just in case, please go to bfuu.org. Next Sunday, May 31st, we will hear from our incomparable Reverend Bonnie Dlot, who will enter the sanctuary any minute, who will give us a sermon entitled, "Put Your Own Oxygen Mask On First." You may be able to imagine what this is about. With our liberal values under constant attack, it's tempting to rush from emergency to emergency, tossing our attention, time, and treasure at the latest travesty. Working to protect our neighbors and our rights as Americans is vital and overwhelming. Join us next Sunday for reflections on the importance of being as compassionate to ourselves as we are to others. Good one. Maybe we should make sure Sumi is here for that, because she gave a similar sermon. Now we are going to extinguish the chalice. Thank you, Margaret. Please read with us. The words in your order of service are on the screen. We extinguish the flame of this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, or the energy of service. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. So thanks for joining us today. And after the service, you're welcome to stay and enjoy the smorgasbord in the back. Please kindly remember to recycle your paper plates and napkins in our green compost container next to the trash. Now for the final circle. Please form a circle in the hall and join in singing Circle Round for Freedom. Afterward, Bill McKibben, environmentalist, writer, and founder of 350.org and Third Act, will give us an on-screen benediction followed by Claire's words.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us in prison. Circle for release, go for the planet, circle for each soul. Children of our children, keep a circle whole.
More and more and more people of faith, I think, are understanding that the very first thing we were asked to do in the good book is steward creation, safeguard it. And it's probably the command we've done the worst job of living up to.
You can't hoard solar energy or hold it in reserves. It's available to all. There's no guarantee we can make this change in time, but there is a hope. Our best hope for a new civilization, one that looks up to the sun every day as the star that fuels our world.